Because I am constantly trying to claw at relevance, despite nothing relevant to say. Here is Aztec 49, where Aztec fights Marilyn Manson some more. If you didn't know, I have looked at the first two parts of this story, and in those videos I often pointed to two things. First, my belief that Marilyn Manson abuses his girlfriends. And secondly, that Marilyn Manson's ex-girlfriend, Rachel Evan Wood, is beautiful in that Dracula show where she is the Dracula Queen of Louisiana. Well, yesterday, Rachel Evan Wood came out and announced that Marilyn Manson abused her for years. He groomed her as a teenager, and she might as well have said, yes, Son of Nimrod is right about everything ever. Marilyn Manson, he is a horrible piece of shit, and his music is poser bollocks. Here is Marilyn Manson, or rather our Marilyn Manson proxy, who is just Marilyn Manson, definitely Marilyn Manson. This is part of the Batman Super Mega Hyper crossover event called No Man's Sky, but all I really know about No Man's Sky comes from this book and Robert's book. Gotham City, it ends up like abandoned by the government and left to the criminals. And Marilyn Manson, he wants this to happen. His motivations are not very clear, so I will posit that the reason he wants this to happen is because his girlfriend is currently in Gotham City and he wants her to get gang raped by criminals. So Marilyn Manson, he has been using his celebrity status to manipulate the masses and do evil things in plain sight. And virtually everything that this character does in this issue, I can go just like the real Marilyn Manson does. Meanwhile, Aztec phones up to get help from Barbara Oldman. Aztec messed up yet again. He was meant to protect a senator, but he is Aztec, so he failed at this really easy assignment. And Marilyn Manson choked the senator to death. And now Batman has forbidden Aztec from operating as a vigilante, from operating as Aztec. But Aztec, he wants to tie up loose ends. He wants to finish off the job that he was meant to do. He wants to stop Marilyn Manson from killing again. And he flirts around with Barbara in order to get her to do most of the legwork for him. Insensitive pun intended, because Barbara's legs are useless. We have an issue coming up all about the Aztec and Barbara romance. So I will hold back all my anti-Oriole opinions until then. Oriole would be their ship name. It's kind of a good name, to be honest. Oriole. Shame one of them is terrible. Yeah, a lot of this is, again, building up Marilyn Manson. He is gunning on the television to gaslight people. And I never liked Marilyn Manson, ever. I think I have watched, at most, one Marilyn Manson music video through to the end. It was his hideous, unironic cover of Tainted Love. I've probably seen more music videos with Rachel Evan Wood in them. She was at the start of a Bright Eyes one. She was on a plane. My problem with Marilyn Manson is he is basically just novelty music. He's like the sort of parody character they would have on a TV show that is meant to be like the outrageous metal music that the rebellious kids are listening to and the parents find repellent and confusing. Marilyn Manson, he's not a real person. He is just a cartoon. His music is so boring and crap. It's just an unfunny parody. It's a little bit of Depeche Mode, a little bit of Nine Inch Nails, the spoken part from I Just Can't Be Happy Today by The Damned. But there's no jokes. Spinal Tap are an actual parody, and their music is still better than Marilyn Manson's sincere attempts at ripping off my own personal Jesus for a career. So Aztec, he tracks down Marilyn Manson, and I have barely said anything about this issue, but it really is mostly Marilyn Manson stuff. Aztec, he leaps into action, and even though he is really trying this time, well, he still gets shot. Aztec is terrible. He is an awful hero, and that's part of the only charm of him. He's a bit like DC's version of 90s 4. Aztec is a chump, he is a loser, but unlike 90s 4, half the characters didn't tell him to his face that he is a stupid oaf. Aztec, he does manage to save somebody, but just barely. There is an explosion, and then right at the end we have a guest appearance from Batman. And the question to ask whenever Batman guest appears in someone else's comic is whether Batman is going to be written as a dickhead or an idiot. We are going with idiot Batman this time. Even though Aztec disobeyed his orders and he did a sloppy job of doing anything, and he got shot, and he even conned Barbara into helping him. Well, Batman forgives him and says Aztec can be his friend again, even though Aztec failed immensely at the original job Batman gave him of babysitting a senator. But the thing on everyone's mind now is who the bad guy could be, who could be the force that unites Aztec and 90s 4 in an intercompany crossover where the two of them bumble around and clumsily fail at saving the world. The debate is if you want someone ridiculously over the top that they didn't stand a chance against, like Darkseid, or if you want a terrible and crap bad guy like Blowtorch Brand to just embarrass them. This comic is okay. I still think there is a nice bit of satire having Marilyn Manson as the bad guy, but that seems more unintentional as it goes on, and there's no real wit or observation behind it once you get beyond the initial idea. I'll end by saying support sexy Dracula queens, 7 thumbs up.